The world is still full of unsolved mysteries, and in the middle of the sunny land of the Middle East, Iran appears as a treasure forgotten by time. This place not only has a glorious ancient history, but also contains architectural works that challenge human understanding. Going beyond all limits, Iranian nature has painted majestic and enchanting pictures that make people bow and shake. Nestled in the heart of the sunny city of Shiraz, Nasir al-Mulk is not just a mosque, but a miracle of light. Step inside in the early morning, you will feel like entering a dream filled with colors. More than 1,500 brilliant stained glass panels blend with the sunlight to create dances of light moving across the floor and walls, a visual phenomenon that makes people's hearts stop in a moment of amazement. Everything here is meticulously calculated, from the direction of the sun, the thickness of the bricks, to the marble column's hand, carved in perfect spirals. Every detail represents the combination of art, science, and religion, where light not only illuminates the space, but also awakens the deepest emotions in people's hearts. Nasir al-Mulk does not need to say a word. It touches the heart with its pure beauty, a place that makes you believe that humans have truly touched the divine with their hands. Leaving the dance of light in the Nasir al-Mulk Mosque, the journey leads us to another surreal scene. Maharloo Lake, where nature itself paints a picture that no brush can compare to. In summer, the lake turns a brilliant pink, as if the entire sunset sky has melted onto the ground. But behind the gentle beauty lies a shocking harshness. Temperatures exceeding 110 degrees Fahrenheit. No trees, no swimming creatures. Only extreme bacteria living quietly in salt water 4 times saltier than the ocean. As the water evaporates, the crystalline salt layer, more than 8 inches thick, spreads out like a white mirror in the sunlight, reflecting the footsteps of curious travelers. Maharloo needs no sound, no movement. It captivates with silence, with fragile and defiant beauty. Standing before the lake, we feel more clearly than ever. There are wonders not created by humans, but by the passionate heart of the earth itself. As the pink of Maharloo gradually fades under the midday sun, we continue our journey west, where the Izadkhast Fortress stands tall in the middle of the plateau like a whisper from the past. built on a sandstone block about 20 meters high, with 3 sides of vertical walls. Izadkhast resembles an eagle's nest, both lonely and proud in the desert. The walls, made of compressed bricks and mud, have existed for more than 1,500 years, despite the constant erosion of wind, sand, and time. Below the fortress, the ancient stone bridge still bears its original traces, as if time had hesitated when passing through this place. In the quiet space, each brick seems to echo the footsteps of caravans, the voices of ancient residents who lived here until the 20th century. Standing in the middle of Izadkhast, we not only see rocks and soil, but also see the human heart, persistent, skillful, and constantly striving beyond seemingly insurmountable limits. A reminder that, even in the most isolated places, people still create miracles. Leaving behind the solitude of the Izadkhast Fortress, we enter a completely different world. Palangan Village, where stone and water merge into one, where people live in harmony with nature as an inseparable part. Located at an altitude of more than 1,700 meters in the heart of the Zagros Mountains, the village appears like a layered painting. Stone houses stacked on top of each other along the mountainside. The roof of one house is the yard of another. The air here is fresh and cool all year round, without the need for air conditioning or heating. A freshwater stream flows through every corner of the village, so clear that people can drink it right from the source, as if nature is extending its arms to protect each resident here. Palangan is not bustling, not noisy, but every stone wall, every wooden door is imbued with life, memories, and attachments. Coming here, the traveler not only finds beauty, but also feels the quiet and enduring beat of a community living in harmony between the vast sky and earth. Following the feats of stone and water, we stand before another symbol, majestic and sacred, the Ziggurat of Chogha Zanbil, an ancient religious structure of the Elamites, located in the middle of the Khuzestan plain. Built more than 3,200 years ago, this step pyramid still stands tall between the earth and sky like a block of unfading memory. Five stacked floors up to 25 meters high. Each small brick is engraved with cuneiform, recording the name of the king and the god worshipped, as if each brick were a prayer sent into eternity. Under the temple floor is a system of earthen pipes more than 600 meters long, bringing underground water from deep within the earth. A testament to the sophistication and endurance in the thinking of the ancients. No need for domes, no need for electric lights. This place still exudes an indescribable quiet energy. Going north, we encounter a gem hidden in the mist, Masuleh Village, where time seems to stop to preserve the most rustic and gentle beauty of the Iranian mountains and forests. At an altitude of more than 1,000 meters, Masuleh is always immersed in a thin mist, creating a hazy scene like coming out of a fairy tale. The terraced houses overlap each other, where the roof of one house is the yard of the other, blending perfectly with the steep terrain. Masuleh is not as noisy as other wonders, but it is that silence that makes the traveler's heart calm, as if nature is whispering. Sometimes, the most sincere beauty is when we live very slowly. Leaving the majestic walls of Rudkhan, we head to the Azerbaijan plateau, where the village of Kandovan appears like a stone dream in the sky. At an altitude of more than 2,000 meters, this village was not built, but carved into the heart of unique conical volcanic rocks. Each house is a living cave, with walls up to 3 meters thick, cool in the summer, warm in the snowy winter, all without electricity or air conditioning. The miracle is that this is not a relic, but a living village, where people still live, cook, and chat every day in the heart of the pristine rock. The steep slopes force all architecture to follow nature, making the entire village seem to melt into the mountainside. Kandovan is not only beautiful, it makes people speechless before the limitless adaptability and creativity of humans. Amidst the dry rocks, life still sprouts in its own way, strong, durable, and poetic. However, when leaving the living rocks of Kandovan, the journey takes us into the barren heart of the desert, where the blue lake Shahdad Kooh appears like a fragile mirage in the middle of the sea of burning sand. Existing only for a brief moment after a rare rainstorm, this lake is a testament to the fleeting and unexpected beauty of nature. The water's unique green hue is not caused by algae, but by dissolved minerals and reflected light, a delicate palette that only appears when the conditions are perfect. But its beauty is also incredibly fragile. Under the scorching sun of up to 160 degrees Fahrenheit, the lake only lasts a few days before completely evaporating, leaving behind a dazzling layer of white salt. It's this transience that makes this place so special. A reminder that true beauty doesn't need to last forever to move people. Sometimes, just a glimpse is enough to leave a lasting impression on your travel memories. If you find this video interesting, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to continue exploring this magical journey with us. As Shahdad Kooh Lake dissolves into sand and sunlight, we are drawn into Dasht-e Lut, the hottest place on the planet. This is no ordinary desert, but another world where time and life seem to stand still in the face of intense heat. The temperature on the ground has been recorded by NASA at 159.3 degrees Fahrenheit, enough to burn your skin in just a few minutes. Winds blow at 65 miles per hour, blowing away all traces, leaving only eroded rocks that form yardangs, bare and fierce ridges that seem to roar at the sky. Occasionally, skyscraper-sized sand dunes rise from the cracked plains, creating a surreal scene that is both beautiful and terrifying. Not a bird, not a tree, just sand, rock, and wind, eternal and silent. Dasht-e Lut leaves us speechless, because in its extreme harshness, nature has reached the limit of beauty, a cold, burning, and unforgettable beauty. Leaving the scorching silence of Dasht-e Lut, we come across another symbol of life rising from the desert. Arg-e Bam, the world's largest earthen citadel. Like an oasis of memory in the arid Kerman province, the Bam citadel spans over 36 acres, with walls nearly 60 meters high, built entirely of mud bricks, without any steel or cement. The wonder lies not only in its enormous scale, but in the way the ancients designed it to withstand the harsh climate. More than 30 Badgir, ancient wind towers, catch the air from above, lead it underground, and then push it back into the living space, creating a natural cooling system even when the outside temperature exceeds 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Standing among the ruins that still retain the spirit of an ancient city, we seem to hear the sound of horses' hooves and the sound of the afternoon market echoing through the cracked earthen walls. Bam is more than bricks and dust. It is the memory of a civilization that once knew how to create life in the most hopeless place. In contrast to the somber brown of Arg-e Bam, the island of Hormuz bursts into a colorful painting in the middle of the Persian Gulf. With an area of only about 16 square miles, this small island contains more than 70 rare minerals, turning the soil and rocks here into vivid colors. Red, orange, purple, silver, gold, all spread out on beaches so strange that they seem unreal. In particular, the red soil, rich in iron oxide, covers up to 70% of the island's area, not only used as paint, but also processed into traditional dishes by the locals, as if art and life have become one. The undulating cliffs, the purple sand, the sea sparkling under the sun. Hormuz is more than just a destination. It is an emotion, a place that makes us wonder, how can nature be so bold? After days of wandering through the dry desert, setting foot on Hormuz is like stepping into a tropical dream, where the land, sea, and sky sing together brilliantly. Not far from the brilliant beaches of Hormuz Island, we are lost in another world, quiet, mysterious, and deep. Namakdan Salt Cave, the longest natural salt cave in the world. With a length of more than 20,000 feet, the cave winds like an underground river of time, where light only filters through a few cracks in the rocks, reflecting on the pure, white, pink, sometimes purple salt crystals like quartz, creating a magical scene not unlike the corridors of a fairy tale palace. The walls of the cave are made of layers of crystallized salt that have been there for thousands of years, so dense and transparent that you can see the light dancing inside each layer of rock. The sound is almost swallowed up. Only the heartbeat and breathing remain, making each step a whisper in the ground. Namakdan is not as noisy, not as brilliant as Hormuz above, but it touches the quietest depths of emotions, where people can only listen, feel, and revere. Leaving the shimmering silence of the Namakdan Salt Cave, we enter a scene that seems to come out of an alien fairy tale dream, the Valley of Stars on Keshem Island. This place is a maze of vertical rocks, with stone columns up to 40 meters high, strangely shaped as if the hands of wind and water had silently sculpted over thousands of years. Each step echoes between the giant crevices, making people feel like they are lost in a forgotten stone city where all the laws of physics are bent. When the sun sets, the red-pink light penetrates the rocks, dyeing the whole space with mythical colors. The locals believe that stars once fell here, leaving their eternal traces in the rocks, a legend that makes this place even more sacred. Valley of Stars is not simply a geological masterpiece, but a place that makes our minds expand beyond reality, believe in miracles, in the wild beauty that nature still retains for dreamers. Continuing the surrealism of Valley of Stars, the journey takes us to a completely different world. The Hara mangrove forest, where life springs to life amidst the quiet salt water. Spanning nearly 55,000 acres around Keshem Island, the Hara forest is like a green maze floating on the sea, where twisted tree trunks rise from the water, shimmering in the sunlight. Every early morning when the tide comes in, the entire forest seems to be floating, quietly moving with the waves, making it unclear where is land and where is water. This is the roof of thousands of migratory birds, fish, and marine life, a silent green lung that purifies the ocean. Without majestic rocks or bright colors, Hara captivates with its softness, durability, and heartbreaking gentleness. Sitting on a small boat gliding through the windless rows of trees, listening to the birds calling each other in the mist, we feel nature embracing us, not majestic, not overwhelming, but gentle, like a gentle touch to the soul. Not far from the tranquil plateau of Takht-e Soliman is a world as vast as the sea. Lake Urmia, one of the largest inland salt lakes that ever existed in the Middle East. At one point, the lake stretched for more than 5,000 square kilometers, vast and sparkling in the sunlight, like a giant mirror reflecting the sky. But in recent years, Urmia has shrunk, gradually drying up due to drought and human intervention, leaving a white lake bed covered in layers of salt up to 30 centimeters thick, where the ground crackles underfoot. Occasionally, the remaining water changes color from blue to deep red due to halophile bacteria and red algae that survive the extreme salinity, like slow drops of blood flowing over the remains of a sleeping giant. Standing before Urmia today is a feeling of both admiration and regret. A place where nature was once so majestic it was surreal, now becomes a quiet but haunting reminder of the fragility of the very beauty we thought would last. Leaving the austere look of the Arg-e Fortress, we set foot in a completely different place, where soul and art become one, the Sheikh Safi al-Din Khanagah Mosque complex in Ardabil. Like a hymn made of brick, stone, and light, this structure is a symbol of the most exquisite Islamic architecture in Iran. Built in the 14th century, the complex includes shrines, monasteries, libraries, and mausoleums, all arranged in a perfect symmetrical layout as if reflecting a miniature universe where human hearts and faith blend. The nearly 24-meter-high dome is assembled with thousands of jade-green tiles, reflecting the morning light like a shimmering moon in the middle of the stone. The gold lines, lacquer, and winding calligraphy on the walls are not just decoration. They are whispers of spirituality, drawings of devotion to the Supreme Being. Entering this place, we are no longer travelers, but souls, standing on the sacred threshold of silence and eternal beauty. Example of a strong rise is South Korea, a country that has gone from the ashes of war to the status of a technological powerhouse in just a few decades. Not only famous for K-pop, television dramas, or super-fast 5G networks, South Korea also impresses with an admirable achievement, joining the visa waiver program in 2008. Since then, South Korean citizens can easily enter the US without a visa, with just an ESTA application and a valid passport. This is not a matter of luck. It is the result of years of building trust, improving security, sharing intelligence, and adhering to international standards. In 2024 alone, more than 2.2 million South Koreans came to the United States. Students, business people, tourists, and those with aspirations of integration. They passed through the gates not because of favors, but because of their hard work and determination. And it reminds us that no privilege is an accident. It is built on a foundation of trust and persistence over time. Not stopping there, a small country that has always created great milestones on the world's geopolitical map, Israel, has officially entered the visa waiver list in 2023. After many years of waiting and tireless efforts, with its complicated history and sensitive location in the Middle East, the possibility of Israelis entering the US without a visa once seemed far-fetched. However, they have proven the opposite. Through a series of reforms in domestic security, information sharing, and building a modern immigration management system, Israel has made the United States not only recognize but also trust. Now, with just a passport and an ESTA registration, Israeli citizens can easily come to the US to reunite with their families, pursue educational opportunities, expand their business, or simply explore another culture. More than 800,000 people have done it in 2024 alone. And behind that number is a long journey full of determination. Therefore, the presence of Israel is not just news, but living proof that, where there is perseverance and real commitment, there will be doors opened. On the other hand, among the vast and powerful countries, the presence of a small island nation like Singapore on the visa waiver list is a wonderful testament to the value of discipline, intelligence, and foresight. Since 1999, Singapore citizens have been allowed to enter the US without a visa, just a valid passport and a few minutes to fill out information on the ESTA system. It sounds simple, but behind that convenience is a solid foundation of citizen management, data security, and compliance with international law. Despite being only half the size of Los Angeles, Singapore has one of the most powerful passports in the world, not by luck, but by a system that operates almost flawlessly. In 2024, more than 750,000 Singaporeans traveled to the US, passing through checkpoints as if it were a given. But in fact, it was the result of decades of steady trust building. In a turbulent world, Singapore shows us that you don't have to be big to make an impact. Just be accurate, honest, and always one step ahead. Meanwhile, a country with a long and deep historical relationship with the US, the UK, remains an irreplaceable place on the list of countries with visa-free access to the US. As a strategic ally, military and cultural partner, the UK has long been seen as America's most trusted companion. British citizens can enter the US for 90 days with just an ESTA application. No need to go to the consulate, no need for thick documents, just a passport that is a global symbol. In 2024, more than 4.8 million Britons visited the US, making the UK one of the largest sources of international visitors to the US. But what is less well known is that not all British passport holders are eligible. Only those with full residency rights in the UK enjoy this privilege. That shows that even with the closest relationships, the US still puts security and management first. And for the UK, visa-free privilege is not only a result of history, but also an affirmation that trust must be maintained by systems, laws, and mutual respect. Have you ever wondered why Japanese or British people can enter the US as easily as domestic tourists, while other countries have to queue up to apply for a visa? If you want to discover the secrets behind the most powerful passports in the world, subscribe to the channel now so you don't miss out on the amazing facts. But it's not just traditional powers that have been granted special privileges by the United States. Qatar, a tiny country in the middle of the Middle Eastern desert, surprised the world when it officially joined the visa waiver program in 2023. Just a few years ago, Qatari citizens had to wait weeks for their visas to be processed, but now they only need an ESTA application to enter the United States. It's not the result of oil or financial power, but the result of a quiet but decisive diplomatic strategy, upgrading security systems, improving biometric technology, and working closely with international intelligence agencies. In 2024, more than 200,000 Qataris traveled to the United States, from business people to students to families traveling on vacation, and all passed through the port of entry with ease, without the need for a traditional visa. This proves that no matter how big or small a country is, as long as it shows seriousness, transparency, and responsibility, the door to the United States is always ready to open. For Qatar, it is not just a step forward in tourism, but a step to affirm its position on the global map. The peaceful island nation in the South Pacific is also a great example of prestige without ostentation. Since 1991, New Zealand citizens have been allowed to enter the United States without a visa, just a valid passport and a quick ESTA application. For Kiwis, this is not only convenient for travel, but also a symbol of a sustainable relationship, based on respect and close cooperation between the two countries. New Zealand is small in population, but big in reputation. From its transparent legal system to its admirable sense of community. That's why its citizens' immigration violation rate is almost zero, reinforcing its strong trust in the eyes of the United States. Anyone who has ever met a New Zealander feels their humility, sincerity, and openness, which is also the reason why they easily cross boundaries that other nationalities have difficulty with. And that is a simple but profound message. There is no need to be noisy to be accepted. Just always act responsibly and maintain the honor of your country, and all doors will be open. In addition, Portugal, a country on the Atlantic that has made great voyages, now continues its journey to conquer the world in a different way, through trust and global integration. Since 1999, Portuguese citizens have officially been exempted from visas to the United States through the Visa Waiver Program. That means Portuguese can travel to the United States for up to 90 days with just a valid passport and a simple ESTA application. But behind that ease lies an efficient bureaucracy, a transparent security system, and a Portuguese community in the United States that has built a reputation over generations. From students to business people to reunited families, they crossed the US border, not just with their luggage, but with a sense of trust built on history, responsibility, and mutual respect. In a world where visas remain a barrier for billions of people, the Portuguese privilege is not only enviable, it is the result of a nation that holds its own in turbulent times. And that is how Portugal continues to make its mark on the global map. Quietly, persistently, and with courage. Angkor Wat, the most brilliant gem in the Angkor complex, is not only the pride of Cambodia, but also an eternal symbol of human wisdom and belief. Built in the 12th century to worship Vishnu, then gradually becoming a Buddhist sanctuary, Angkor Wat is like a great symphony, combining architecture, art, and spirituality. Spanning over 400 acres, the temple contains more than 3,000 exquisite reliefs, depicting legendary stories and history of a prosperous period. Few people know that Angkor Wat's architecture was inspired by the Hindu cosmological model, with the central tower symbolizing Mount Meru, where the gods reside. Standing before the grandeur and tranquility of Angkor Wat, people cannot help but be moved. Here, each stone slab seems to whisper about the past, and each ray of early sunlight shining through the ancient corridor seems to awaken souls that have been sleeping for centuries. If Angkor Wat is the pinnacle of Khmer art and belief, then Kooh, deep in the Preah Vihear forest, brings a feeling of wildness and mystery, as if you have just discovered a buried secret. About 120 kilometers from Siem Reap, Kooh was once the capital of the Khmer Empire for nearly 40 years in the 10th century, a glorious but little-known period in history. The most prominent here is the Prasat Thom Temple, with a soaring pyramid shape in the middle of the wild nature, reminiscent of the temples of the distant Mayans. Amidst the moss-covered ruins and the quiet sound of the old forest, Kooh not only takes visitors back to an ancient era, but also evokes an indescribable sense of sacredness, as if this place is still protected by ancient spirits. It is this solitude and silence that makes Kooh an enchanting destination, reminding that history is not only told through feats, but also through forgotten works. Leaving the solitude of Kooh, the journey takes us back to the heart of Angkor Thom, where Bayon Temple appears like a mythical maze carved in stone. Different from the solemn majesty of Angkor Wat or the solitude of Kooh, Bayon has its own charm. 54 stone towers with more than 200 giant, gentle, and mysterious faces, as if watching every step of the traveler. Built in the late 12th century under King Jayavarman VII, the temple is a blend of Buddhism and royal power, where beliefs are not separate from politics, but go hand in hand like two halves of the same world. The stone smiles at Bayan are not noisy, but are strong enough to penetrate time, making us wonder, are they portraits of gods, kings, or the soul of a vanished civilization? In the dim light of the surrounding jungle, Bayan is more than just an architectural work. It is a profound spiritual experience, where the past still whispers alive. The journey takes us to a completely different land, Laguna Colorada in Bolivia, a surreal wonder in the heart of the harsh Altiplano Plateau. From afar, the lake appears like a bright red streak in the middle of the cold desert, making people wonder, is this a real lake or a dream appearing in real life? The characteristic red color of the water comes from bacteria and minerals dissolved in harsh conditions, a testament to the resilience and incredible adaptation of life. Clumps of pure white salt rise from the lake like ice islands, while hundreds of Andean flamingos walk gracefully, creating an elegant pink dance in the surreal landscape. There are no trees, no shade, just wind, sun, and the burning red of the sky and earth. Laguna Colorada is not a place to relax. It is a place to marvel, to reflect, and to realize that even in the harshest places, beauty can emerge in a majestic and emotional way. From the red highlands of Laguna Colorada, we return to the gentle blue of the Pacific, where the Kalalau Valley, a hidden gem on the island of Kauai, Hawaii, quietly welcomes dreamers. Deep in the steep Na Pali Mountains, Kalalau is not easily accessible. It can only be reached by crossing the treacherous Kalalau Trail, more than 17 kilometers long, on foot, by boat, or by helicopter. An arduous journey, but the reward is completely worth it. The valley opens up like a fairy tale world. Lush green vegetation, waterfalls pouring over steep cliffs, and the pristine Kalalau beach with only the whisper of waves and wind. There are no restaurants, no hotels, just pure nature and absolute silence. Standing in the middle of Kalalau, we feel something beyond beauty, a deep connection with the land, the water, and ourselves. Kalalau is not only a destination for adventurers, but also a place where the soul finds a rare peace in the hustle and bustle of the modern world. From the quiet Kalalau Valley in the middle of the ocean, we continue to fly to the sunny Caribbean, where Isla Holbox, a small island off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico, appears like a dream full of color and light. No cars, no dust. Holbox is a paradise of simplicity and relaxation, where white sand roads quietly lead to the clear blue sea, and time seems to slow down with each wave hitting the shore. This place is not only famous for its pristine beaches, but also for a magical phenomenon: bioluminescence. At night, the seawater shimmers like millions of stars shattered under people's feet, making us surprised and moved. Holbox is also home to flamingos, dolphins, and especially whale sharks, gentle giants that visitors can swim with during the migration season. Isla Holbox is not a place of luxury resorts, but a place of emotions, where every sea breeze, every sunset reminds us of simple peace and untouched beauty. Leaving the magical glowing waters of Isla Holbox, we cross the ocean and the majestic mountains to reach Svaneti, an ancient and majestic land deep in the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia. Like a forgotten epic, Svaneti appears with soaring snow-capped peaks, narrow valleys covered with pine forests, and especially the towering medieval stone towers, symbols of pride and independence that have existed for centuries. Along the bumpy cobblestone roads, we enter villages like Mestia or Ushguli, where time seems to stand still. The sound of church bells, the sound of locals chatting in ancient Svan, and the smell of kitchen smoke mixed with the mountain mist create a feeling that is both strangely foreign and strangely familiar. Svaneti is not pretentious. It is a land for those who appreciate the depth of culture, the harshness of nature, and the unadorned beauty. There, amid the clouds and heritage, travelers find something precious, a silence full of identity in a world that is changing too quickly. After journeys back in time through Bayonne and Kooh, Koh Rong emerges as a gentle silence of nature, where the waves and the jungle harmonize in a wild love song. Located off the coast of Sihanoukville province, this island stretches nearly 30 kilometers with fine white sand. The seawater is so clear that you can see schools of small fish swimming by your feet. But Koh Rong is not only beautiful for its scenery, but also for its soul. This is where Khmer people have lived for centuries, preserving ancient legends and customs that have never been forgotten. At night, when the sun sets behind the coconut trees, the phenomenon of bioluminescence makes the sea glow like a galaxy. A magical moment that leaves anyone who witnesses it speechless. Koh Rong is not noisy, not crowded, but pure and profound. In the sound of the sea breeze and the scent of the tropical forest, this place whispers an invitation. Let's temporarily forget the world and listen to the pristine breath of nature. Leaving behind the clear blue waves and the ephemeral light of Koh Rong, the journey continues to take us to the sacred land, where traces of the past still silently exist on the top of Udong Mountain. Once the capital of Cambodia for nearly 2 centuries, from 1618 to 1866, Udong was not only the political center, but also the spiritual heart of the whole nation. Today, this place is a collection of more than 40 ancient temples scattered along the mountainside, hidden in the early morning clouds and incense smoke. Standing from the top of Udong, looking out at the green fields and the peaceful river in the distance, people cannot help but feel small before the pure and profound beauty of this land. Udong is not as bustling as Phnom Penh, nor as splendid as Angkor, but this place holds precious things. From the sacred silence of Udong Mountain, the traveler's footsteps continue to Phnom Samphav, a majestic limestone mountain located in Battambang province, where natural beauty and historical memories intersect in an emotional scene. From afar, Phnom Samphav appears majestically in the middle of the peaceful plain, like a silent witness to the stories that once shook the whole country. This place is famous for its cave system that was once a painful execution site during the Khmer Rouge period, and also where millions of bats flock out every sunset, creating a spectacular scene like a vivid cloud strip stretching for kilometers against the fiery red sky. Reaching the top of the mountain, the golden pagodas reflect on the steep cliffs, as if soothing the wounds of the past with the light of hope and faith. Phnom Samphav is not only a place to admire the landscape, but also a place to calm down, to remember, to understand, and to feel the endurance of the Cambodian soul through the ups and downs of history. Leaving the gentle tranquility of Kep, the journey takes us back to the center of water life, where the floating villages on Tonle Sap Lake near Siem Reap appear as a completely different world. This is the largest freshwater lake in Southeast Asia. But what makes this place special is not only its enormous size, but also the Khmer communities that have lived on the water for hundreds of years. Wooden houses built on rafts, schools, churches, floating markets, all flow to the rhythm of the water, as if time must also learn to adapt. In the rainy season, the lake expands to more than 6,000 square kilometers, turning everything into a vast river area where boats are the only means of connection. The people here live on fish, an animal that makes up 70% of their daily diet, and celebrate colorful water festivals as a way to honor nature. Standing in the middle of that space, listening to the gentle sound of oars on the water, we feel a life that is both fragile and durable, where people not only exist, but also blend into the pulse of nature.